Flames Talk is brought to you by Molson, made from Canada. Beaches Quality Drywall, not just our name, it's our commitment. And South Centre Fine Cars, your Calgary Porsche dealership.
Eric was a little late today. We started talking about
I have
the
a
Flames.
note. It's okay.
You do?
There it is. There it
From
is.
your wife? Eric and I are not together right now. He's allowed to be late. He's in the
Kidding about that.
doghouse.
My wife and I are still happily married. Don't.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you still have the number one radio station in town?
Show. Matter of fact, we do.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay. Since we're telling lies, we just got to get that out.
Oh, look at this guy. Wow. Welcome back, Eric. Great to see you too.
Talk about the Flames as they head into Montreal for Thursday's game against the Habs. Boy, they're a hurting-looking unit right now. 5 goals against each game. I know it's early, but there doesn't seem to be the fight. And Grant and I were talking about you need some blue-collar efforts from these guys, or you're not going to win any game. Too many guys trying to be elite players.
Well,
Skilled players.
Yeah,
They can.
well,
They should be elite. Yeah. Okay.
Well, at least skill, same friggin' thing.
yeah, I mean, this is a lunch bucket crew, or is it? I mean,
Should be.
what I'm interested to see over the next little while is what is the identity of the Calgary Flames? You know, when Daryl Sutter first came here, we heard endlessly about how they needed an identity. And Lord, I used to mock him. I thought that was, what does that mean? It didn't mean anything to me. I figured that out a couple of years later. You realized what it meant. When players came in here, they knew that even if they were to steal a point or two out of the dome, you were going to get beat up in the process, either in a fight or they were just going to hammer you. Now, the Flames long ago abandoned that sort of attitude, but what is this team?
Yeah, but I think you can still have an identity, and players, when they come in here, have to learn to compete if they compete in their own style. And this was going to be a puck possession team this year. Chris Butler
There's
on
another
defense.
phrase I don't understand. But
You
anyway.
control the puck
Yeah,
more.
doesn't every team want to control the puck? That's the whole point of the game.
No, you just dump it in, you fight for it in the puck, and you scramble around. You don't know. The Detroit Red Wings are the perfect example. This past year, getting rid of Robin Regeer, big bruising defenseman. The Flames have said with Chris Butler and a guy like Derek Smith, we want to get the puck in the corner, not kill the guys, get the puck, pass it up real fast. That's puck possession, get it out. That's an identity. So if a team comes and plays against the Flames and you know you're up against that every game, that's an identity. But the Flames aren't working hard enough. In the first 2 games, it looked like they were still in Banff.
Well,
were
especially the St. Louis game, and they spent most of their time in their zone scrambling around.
And then when the Blues were keeping the Flames forwards on the outside, they scored 1 goal by Glenn Cross from way out, but they weren't competing. They weren't fighting in the St. Louis zone. So that's what I think is an identity, Eric. It doesn't have to be physically intimidating. It can just be your compete level.
Okay.
You're not going to give up.
If that's what it's going to be, but if that's their identity, like what is it? Is it a puck possession team, or is it a skilled team? They're going to beat you with finesse and speed, or by boring you to death, or how? Like, what is it? You have to admit that you can't put in one sentence what this Calgary Flames team is or hopes to be this year.
I haven't for the last couple of years been
Okay,
able to
that's-
say that.
that's- that was my only point.
You can't identify with what these guys are going to put in and out on a given night, right?
Because they're compete level.
Yeah.
No, you can't. You can't.
Exactly. And hey, it's not simple to play the same style every night. I mean, that's what your ultimate goal is. But I'm interested to see how it evolves or devolves into what they are or aren't. And that's what we're going to see. I don't want to make excuses for them because I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. I never have. But, is there something to be said for the fact that they had that long break between their last playoff game and their last preseason game and their first regular season game? I mean, they went, 8 days?
Yeah.
And even during the preseason, they never had their entire squad together. Jerome McGinley was missing. He's going to take a while to get up to speed. I'm not making excuses.
I think it's a fair point.
I'm just saying
it's a fair point.
If there was ever a time when they could get a bit of a pass or there's a reason for why they're not competing that hard, they haven't had to for the last, 7-8 months. So, it'll get better. And I'm not making excuses because I just don't think they're ever going to be good enough this year.
But here we are after 2 games and before the game in Montreal, which is on Thursday. We're saying similar things we've said for the last year. That where's the compete level? Jerome's saying we got to work harder. That concerns me more than anything. And that's why I think it doesn't matter that Kiprusoff was in goal or Carlson, because that would only mask. If Kiprusoff was in the game against St. Louis, they wouldn't have won that game. It would have just masked what was going wrong up front.
Yeah, I got to tell you, starting Carlson game 2 now obviously looks like a dumb idea. because game 2 you're throwing your backup in there, but obviously it's symbolic of the new direction the Flames want to head in by giving Kiprusoff, maybe 30 games off. I don't believe it. I'll believe it when I see it. But, it was one thing to go with a blueprint like that, but the record that Kiprusoff had against St. Louis in his career is unbelievable. To just ignore that because you've decided on a whim that you're going to go in a new direction.
Even with Kiprusoff in goal against St. Louis,
they would have lost.
They would have lost.
I get that. So maybe it's moot point. Okay.
That's what I'm saying. If you saw guys competing up front, defensemen getting that puck, dishing it up, they've said they're going to do.
But maybe the players just look at it as a message.
No.
Maybe they do, Grant.
They didn't last year. They played fairly well in front of
They did with every other backup they've ever had
in
the last 10 years. No, I agree. When you see the backup going in, you're thinking, oh, God.
There we go. Especially in game number 2.
Yeah, it didn't make much sense. But, hey, Brent Sutter's a brilliant coach. I'm not going to knock him. But it's easy to second-guess it now.
Brilliant coach?
I think he is. And I'll argue that right now. You want to have that argument right now, or do you want to wait till next week?
Let's wait till next week. I say, what's he done? Oh, boy. He got me going on that.
I'll tell you what he hasn't done is
he
hasn't won a Stanley Cup, or he hasn't won a playoff round in the NHL. But in the meantime, he's compiled.
He hasn't proved himself in this league, Eric, yet. He hasn't proved himself with New Jersey. They lost in the first round. He has not proven himself yet in the NHL, in my opinion.
In New Jersey, a team that had won 3 Stanley Cups in 11 years, he put together the best record they've ever had in franchise history.
They lost to Carolina.
Sure, they lost in the first round, but if you watch that series, you realize it was all Martin Brodeur's fault. He had a goalie on the decline, and he still managed to put up a record. It annoys me. That goes back to the whole argument. It was Dale Hawerchuk. Why is he in the Hall of Fame? He never won anything. Dale Hawerchuk was a brilliant player.
Sure.
But he just wasn't on the right teams. These guys who didn't. He won 2 Stanley Cups as a player. He won a Memorial Cup.
No, but you're saying as a coach. Listen, I'm just saying. To me, Brent Sutter still has to prove himself
at the NHL level.
That's all I'm saying. At the World Juniors and junior hockey, yes, very good. Okay. And he was the best Sutter as a player, no question about it.
Sure.
But to say he's a brilliant coach, I'm sorry, I had to jump on that.
You're right. And in 18 games as a coach in the international level at the juniors, he did tie one game, 17-0-1. But you're right, he did tie one game, so he probably shouldn't get that much credit. My God. Memorial Cup he's won. He won everything in the juniors. He won the Summit Series that they did with the juniors. Won 2 World Junior Championships, never lost a game. And on top of all that, when they hired him to do the World Juniors, Canada hadn't won a gold medal in 7 years. We take it for granted now that they win every year, but he hadn't won in 7 years. Who did they turn to when they really needed to win one? Brent Sutter.
He has not made the playoffs of the Calgary Flames in 2 years, and it does not look like it looks like it's going to be 3 years.
You're going against what you said. You picked them to be in this.
You picked them to make the playoffs?
Yes, you did.
Wait a sec.
You did.
I was sitting here quietly. Yes, I did. I was sitting here.
What year are they going to make the playoffs?
I think they're well coached.
That's awesome.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Hi, I'm Henry Burris. I love Calgary, and I'm proud to call this place home. While Calgary has an interesting history, there aren't a lot of buildings that remain since the early days, and some of those that are left are in pretty bad shape.
Now we can revitalize this area with the use of robotic parking. It's efficient, it's accessible, and it's safe. The best part is that it's easy to use. For more information and a chance to invest with us, visit 7th Avenue AutoPark.com.